Okay, continue where we left off. So, still talking about Assassin's Creed. So, when Altair returned to Marcia, which is the home base to the Assassins, along with a bunch of people that also live there, being protected by the Assassins. So, Altair did ask Al Mualim about the whole thing when he learned about the Templars, about how they believed they were doing something good, and Al Mualim tells him that the Templars have become like this society that wants to control the Holy Land, not to God, but for themselves, because they have been consumed with power, or something like that. So, after Altair dealt with all the 8 Grandmaster Templars, or just 8 Templars, and he has to deal with Sabrand, and Robert Sabrand was already in the Crusades, and he's trying to murder King Richard III, or King Richard the Lionheart. And the only thing is that they only featured King Richard, but never Sultan Saladin. So Saladin is only mentioned, but never appeared in Assassin's Creed, which is kind of a bummer, because I actually want to see how they portrayed him. So, after he killed Robert Sabrand, I'll leave the link down below, it turns out he actually is a real dude. And he reveals that it's not 9 Templars that found the ancient relics, but a 10th one. And it turns out, bum bum bum, Al Mualim was a Templar the whole time. Which kind of shocks him, because Al Mualim was not only a mentor to him, but was also a father to him. Like a father figure, I mean. And when he returns to Marcia, Al Mualim has used the Apple of Eden. Well, kind of like the Garden of Eden. But the apple that's grown into forbidden knowledge. While in Assassin's Creed, it kind of looks more like the map from Treasure Planet, how it's like a round ball. It kind of looks like that instead of a fruit. And it's used to control many people, and they worship him as a god. They praise Al Mualim, praise the old man of the mountain. The old man of the mountain is what the real life 12th century assassin Rashid ad-Din Sinan was known for. And when he dealt face to face with Al Mualim, he's really crazy. And he admits he's not the one to share. And with that Apple of Eden, it reveals to him everything. He found proof is that nothing is true. Everything is permitted. And he wanted to use that apple to create a new religion. One that there is no blood sacrifices. And it's kind of shown he actually is insane for power. Kind of like, sort of in a way like Jafar kind of way. But kind of more crazier. Understandable, but kind of crazy in a way. And Altair just gets out of that control from that apple, and he manages to kill him. And Al Mualim was kind of shocked, and he's like, impossible. A student does not defeat the teacher. And Altair believes that the apple has corrupted him, which, yeah, it kind of did corrupted him. He said that he had fire in his hand, and it must be destroyed, and his response to it is that, destroy the only thing capable of ending the Crusades and creating true peace? Never. So yeah, twist is, Al Mualim was a Templar, betrayed the Templars, and used the Assassins to get rid of the Templars so he can take over the world for himself. So, yeah, after that, Altair began to use the Apple of Eden, but began to use it for knowledge. He began to learn from the past, the present, and the future, learn about the cosmologies, and learn about the math equations, and learn about everything. And even learn about the gods in every religion and mythologies. They are indeed aliens. And Altair, well, still technically an atheist, since his mother is a Jew, which I believe it is, and his dad is a Muslim. So yeah, even after learning everything from the Apple of Eden, he is still currently atheist. And he became the Grandmaster Assassin. And now the Assassins have to fight against the Templars. So, basically, both the Assassins and Templars are both secret organizations of atheists. So it's basically an atheist war, but they have their own ideologies. Their same goal is that they want to bring peace. But their ideologies is different for world peace. The assassins believe freedom can lead to peace. To the Templars, control is much better because freedom causes more chaos and misery. So, yeah, that's the one with this whole the first Assassin's Creed game. And also, in the modern day, they have this place called Abstergo, which is their organization. As they're also known as the Modern Templar. So Warren Vidig is their head scientist. And there's Haytham Kenway, my favorite character and villain. So he first appeared in Assassin's Creed 3. And the trilogy is known as the Kenway Saga. And his father was a pirate named Edward Kenway, and he's really awesome from what I've seen. Even after watching it for the first time and trying to replay the game. So, in here, he didn't get to be an assassin. But after his dad died, a Templar raised him to be among their ranks, and he still got the assassin skills. And so during between 1756 to 1763, during the French and Indian War, also known as the 7-Year War. So the Templars send Haytham to the American colonies to find a temple where they would find something from, like an object from, the Issu race. The Issus are technically the aliens that created all of humankind. Yeah. Like those who came before. The first civilization is what they're known. And, okay, so the real life history about the French Indian War or the 7 Years' War, it's basically a battle between Britain and France. They're fighting over who has more dominion over North America, the French or the British. It's basically like that, and the chief general and commander is Edward Braddock, who fought with the British to fight against the French. And one of them that worked for him was George Washington. Yeah. Before George Washington was a commander, he was a soldier working for Edward Braddock, who was often carried that badge after his death. So, in the game, Edward Braddock was a former member of the Templars, betrayed them because he has a bloodlust. It's kind of how they portrayed him in there. So, Haytham teamed up with a few members of the Templars. There's Thomas Hickey, John Pittarn, and William Johnson. And one of the newly recruited ones was Charles Lee, who would later be... Well, he did join the British side on the French and Indian War, who worked for... I think that's what it was. Yeah, now I remember, because Charles Lee did work for Edward Braddock, so in the game, he's trying to portray him. Because it shows he's very loyal to Haytham. He's like a big fanboy of Haytham. And, well, during the events, he did fall in love with a native woman. And after Haytham killed Edward Braddock, well, in real life, he was shot during the battle. Well, in the game, Haytham manages to kill him. So, Haytham and that native woman named, I'm going to call her Zio, because her full name is really hard to pronounce. So, they fell in love, and after that, their son is born, who will become the main character of the game of Assassin's Creed, who will be known as Connor Kenway. And so it takes place after the French Indian War. So what ended the French Indian War is that there was a Treaty of Paris. So of course the British won the 7-Year War, and then they signed the Treaty of Paris. So it's kind of a peace treaty they made. So, and then after that, they all taxed everyone, including the team, and you get the whole rest. And then Connor's stories takes place with the start of the American Revolution. So technically, the American Revolution was birthed, or came after the whole 7-Year War. So that's basically his story. He's a Grandmaster Templar of the American colonists, or the Colonial Templars. And also in the game, Haytham and the other Templars have been trying to assassinate George Washington because they view him as a weak leader, and have Charles Lee as the commander instead. One thing I love about Assassin's Creed, you get to know both the fictionalized, well, both the game's version of history and the real life history between. Okay, now for Rodrigo Borgia, he's basically the main villain of Assassin's Creed 2. And, okay, in real life, you might know him as Pope Alexander VI. Well, his real name is Rodrigo Borgia, born of the Borgia family. I think it's like an aristocratic family from Valencia, which is in Spain. They're also known as the Borgia family is also known as the Spaniard. And Rodrigo has 4 children. There's Geoffrey and Giovanni, and Cesare Borgia and Lucrezia. And that family's kind of a messed up one. I'll leave the link down below, so you guys might be a little uncomfortable with this whole thing. And I think his father was Alfonso di Borgia, who is also known as Pope Calixtus III. Boy, people change their names when they become popes, don't they? Well, in Assassin's Creed, they are still technically the horrible family, as you know, but in Assassin's Creed 2, we only get to see Rodrigo, and then we go into Brotherhood after Assassin's Creed 2. In Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, you're mostly in Rome, which they pronounce Roma. The main villain is now Cesare Borgia. He's the guy who was like the commander. He's like the Dark Lord of Rome, or Roma as they call it, for some reason. And he's also the guy who portrayed as Jesus in many portraits that you see in museums. So, yeah, and again, I'll leave the link down below between the Borgia family, and it's really intense and uncomfortable for you guys, sorry. So, in Assassin's Creed 2, after the first game, Lucy is actually a secret member of the Assassins, just working undercover against Warren Vidic, gets Desmond, get out of here, and meets the other 2 members of the Assassins, Sean and Rebecca. Sean is like the nerdy one who calculates things and finds some clues and, messages and all that stuff. And Rebecca is the techno geek who made her own Animus called the Animus 2.0. And once he enters, now Desmond gets to relive the memories of another ancestor named Ezio Auditore de Firenze. He's a really fun character. He's my absolute favorite. Assassin's Creed 2 was the best out of all of Assassin's Creed games. Period. It's really awesome. And it kind of makes me want to visit Italy. That game really makes me feel like I want to visit Italy. Even I had a friend who, after finished watching the first game, she said it was alright because it was interesting to have a laid out about knowing the whole thing. And she liked the second one more so far, and she also felt like she wants to visit Italy. So, yeah, so you get to live the memories of Ezio Auditore in Italy during the Renaissance era. I talked too much about Assassin's Creed, haven't I? Okay, so the Templars tells Charles D. Britannia that they have found the pieces of Eden, and with it they can end the world corruption, and finally peace. To end all the suffering and all that stuff. And Charles Lee tells them to go find them. And then we see, the next part, we see the Space Chief recruiting Dr. Robotnik into his forces, and this makes Robotnik want a chance to test on the Decepticons. Really? Interesting reason. I think I'm going to stop right here, so see you guys in the next part of this commentary.